Rocker Pat here. All right, guys, it is daily grind time. This is a 4.3 liter out of a, I don't know what, 2000 S10 pick-em-up truck. This is straight up a customer-induced repair here. The whole truck here, it all started with the check engine light. A correlation between cam and crank correlation code was coming up, and he tried to fix it himself. And let's go over the parts that have been involved in this so far. I believe he's got 2 different distributors that have gone in it, a fuel pump. He tried to put a timing chain in it, and that's why I have it out. He called me on the phone and he asked my opinion on doing this, and I told him to pull the engine out of the truck. That the best way to do this is out of the truck. There's not enough room to try to pry this oil pan out while it's still in the truck. But, you know, he tells me that he's halfway through pulling the transmission, so he goes that route, and then he jacks the engine up and everything. Man, just, you know, a couple of cooler hoses and stuff, and you got the engine out, bro. So what happened was, I guess that he's decided that he needed to change the timing cover, and somehow they have sold him a timing cover, and this is not factory because it says, let's see if we can get in there and zoom in on that. I think that right there, it says the word, let's see if we can turn that around a little better. China. Right there, you can see it. It's right there. So this cover, I got the truck here because it drove into a garage, his garage, and it's never run since. The things they did to it were pull the timing chain off and put a new timing chain in it. Well, one of the things that has happened is, well, let me get to it in the long run. They did all that, and they put it all back together, and they couldn't get it to run. In the process of having it apart, well, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and take the intake manifold off. Somehow, during the taking of the intake manifold off, I haven't figured out exactly why, but the truck won't run. It acts like it's not getting any fuel. This has got a spider injector on it, and chances are, I don't know why, but somehow they've gotten something in it or something. I don't know yet. But I do know that they changed the fuel pressure regulator, and now it doesn't seem to want to run right. I can make it run by spraying some brake clean down the throttle body while I'm cranking, and I can get it to run and run on it. So I know the engine's fine, timing's good, all that kind of crap. But I can't make it run on the fuel pump. So I'm going to get to that later. But the reason why I got the engine out and it's upside down was because this timing cover, being an aftermarket timing cover, doesn't have a factory type seal on it. And just merely by me cranking on this thing, I was getting an Exxon Valdez on the floor over here, and I like my floor clean, not with oil all over it. That right there needs to be cleaned up. So I'd get a big puddle. I mean, I'm talking a big stain, you know, we're talking big old puddle of oil coming out of this thing. So I had to call him up and I said, hey man, I got to take this engine out and fix this problem. So I got it out and I started looking to see where the problem is, and now I see where the problem is. What I was getting was the oil would run down this area right here where the seal goes, and it was sealed up against there properly, but it kept coming out. So when I look at this cover now, and I look down here at the block, you can see where it's open right here next to this bolt hole. Well, next to this bolt hole right here, it's wide open. There's no seal going across this zone right here. There's nothing there. They didn't put any, okay, well, let me rephrase this. My customer put a timing chain in it and a cover on it, couldn't get it to run. They took it to another garage, paid that garage a couple of $100. That guy pulled the timing cover off, put a timing cover on it to check the timing here. Didn't even put the distributor in it or what. I don't know what the whole deal was, because he was telling him you got to take the oil pan off to fix the engine out to fix this problem. and they didn't want to pay it. So I don't know all the whole deal, but it came to me with no water pump on it, timing cover on it, no distributor in it, and no gas gauge working in it. And well, I found out after I put a fuel pump in it, although I was seeing fuel pressure, it showed no fuel in the pump, in the gauge. Excuse me. And my customer had already brought a brand new pump and asked me to put it in. So I went ahead and put that in. I still got 65 pounds of fuel pressure, and I still can't make it run, but I got oil going everywhere. So what the problem is, when this original cover probably had a metal timing cover gasket. Well, that metal gasket took up that space that when this is in there, let me see if I can get a light here on this. But right here, well, that's not working too well. Right there in that, you can see that gap. Well, the seal right here only seals downward. It doesn't seal up against this cover. It's not trying to stop oil from coming off this cover, so there needs to be a seal right there. And that gap right there that we're seeing, I guarantee you was filled up with a piece of that aluminum oil, that gasket, that the aluminum, you know what I'm talking about, you guys that are out there that work on this stuff. Let's see here, I got a light right here. But you see that big gap right there? You can see the bolt. So I guess what I got to do is fix this, is put a little silicone in there, clean all this up and get it back in. And then when I get that back all in there in the truck, then I'll figure out what's going on with why it won't run. And I'll do a quick update once I figure out what's going on there and see what they did wrong. Anyway, Rocker Pat here. He's doing his daily grind, making some money so I can play with the toys. Talk to y'all next time. Y'all keep rocking.